Hi, welcome, and I hope you're doing well. Here I have the iPad 7 generation. The model is A2270. In this video here, I'll be doing a step-by-step from start to finish on how to replace the broken screen on this iPad. Now here are the few tools that I'll explain that you need. First of all, definitely you need to have this safety goggle. Make sure you have this to protect your eye at all times, because the broken glass, when you pry the broken glass using this prying tool, some of the glass may or may not fly to your face, to your eyes, and it can be very dangerous. So always safety first. Make sure you have the safety eye protective gear. Okay, so this is the heat gun that I'll be using, is to heat up the broken glass so that I can easily remove it by softening the adhesive glue or adhesive tape that Apple already installed here. Okay, so I have a tweezer, a prying tool. This super glue is the gel for the adhesive home button. The home button, actually they use a glue to hold on to the bracket, so when you press the home button, the bracket doesn't sink in, and this is what the glue is for, is to kind of glue the bracket back on to hold the home button. So when you press it many times or over times, it doesn't push the bracket down or push the home button down. That's what this glue is for. I have the plastic prying tool just to pry open some of the flex cables. I need a Phillips screwdriver. This one is to remove the screw for the LCD screen. And this is the double-sided tape. It's a red adhesive. So if you see here on the new screen, they actually pre-install the tape on it to glue the new screen back on. However, this new tape here, this pre-installed tape here is not as strong as the third-party adhesive tape. So usually this lasted maybe about a month or so, and you can see that the glass is starting to separate away from the base. I always use this. This one is to help the glass to sit for a long period of time. And of course I have a little scissors to cut the tape. Alright, so let me go ahead and get started. Just so you know, the process on this iPad repair is not that easy. It is quite difficult, but I'm not here to discourage you from doing the repair. I know that you're watching this video because you tried to repair your broken iPad, and I'm trying to do my best to walk you through step-by-steps and explain to you what you need to do and what you shouldn't be doing. Hopefully this video can guide you and help you through your own repair for your iPad. Alright, so what I'm doing right now at this moment here, I'm actually warming up the screen. So let me go ahead and put some of the stuff on the side. So I'm warming up heating up the adhesive so that I can remove the glass easily later on. Now you can see that I'm moving my heat gun up and down. I'm not trying to stay in one position like this because the heat gun is very hot, and I try not to damage the LCD screen or any internal components. So I'm just heating up where I'm going to work on, and when the screen get hardened, the glue get hardened, I can always come back and reheat it again. So you don't have to heat everything all at once. You can work in batches according to how your screen is being cracked. So just work accordingly. Now as you can see, I'm using a metal prying tool. I'm sticking in between the glass and the base. This one here is to cut the adhesive tape here. So I'm having some challenging now. You can see that the prying tool is not cutting through because the tape is starting to harden again. So that's why I'm coming back to reheat it. This is the area, the spot that I'm be working on right now. It's on the top part of the section. Okay. I forgot to mention I already power off my iPad at the very beginning, so make sure you turn off the iPad as well, just to power it off. Alright, looks like I was able to cut some of the adhesive off here on the top. Okay, now I can separate I can feel like the top part here is being separated, which is a good sign. I'll be using a plastic prying tool just to kind of stay in between so that the glass would not go back in, reseat it itself, and get it glued back together. So get something to separate the glass if you can. Alright, so let me work on the side. Just take your time when you do the repair. You don't have to rush, especially removing the glass. Like I said, safety first. Make sure you take your time to remove the glass, because you do not want to damage the LCD screen and have this broken glass flying everywhere to your face. Right, so just take your time, nothing to rush about in this repair. I'm trying to do my best I can here, just to show you the effort that I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to speed things up here on this video. I'm just doing my regular speed, and hopefully that give you enough time to follow the video and try to follow along with the repair. Alright, so when it comes to the bottom part, so far I have done is to get some on one side here is pretty much is open. Now I'm going to work on the bottom part, which is here, you want to pay extra attention on the bottom part here, okay? The reason why, because the Wi-Fi is actually on both sides. The Wi-Fi antenna, they are on both sides, and also the home button cable. The home button cable is running all along to the right side here on this part of here. So make sure you do not use the prying to digging too deep by cutting the home button cable. Now if you broke the home button cable, that is not the end of the repair. You can always install a third-party home button. The third-party home button only allows you to put in the passcode, meaning that the Touch ID function would not work. So the original home button is what we need to save it and transfer it over to the new screen, so that the Touch ID would continue to work with this iPad. And you always want to have a clean environment as you work. So I feel like the table has some of the broken glass. I'm just cleaning off the broken glass here, the small pieces. We are almost there, so just take your time. Alright, so we are actually able to remove the glass. Now here's the home button, and this is the flex cable for that original home button. Do not break that cable or cut the cable. Make sure you save the cable. Alright, so this is the step I would like to quickly remove the bracket while the thing is still warm. So this is the bracket, and let's go ahead and dig underneath, save the bracket. The bracket is actually together with the home button, so do not remove the bracket on its own. Save it gently and try to see if I can pop open the home button on the other side. Okay, so I have the home button being removed now, and I know that some of you may comment here at this point, and I feel like it is not necessary to keep the screen and to separate the battery to, you know, to make whatever you guys want to say. I do not know what you guys want to say, but since the iPad is already turned off, I don't think there's much power running through the cable. What I'm doing right now is I'm cutting the cable so that way it gives me more room to work with this. So this one here, as you can see, that it's just a two cable that control the digitizer. I went ahead and cut it off so that I have more room to work on this. Some of you may say something about this, but that's alright. We'll show you and prove you that the iPad would still work afterwards, and you get to see at the end of the final product. Okay, now the next step I like to do is to come here and remove this adhesive tape that is left behind holding onto the base. So go ahead and remove them, and of course you want to clean off all the broken glass. Looks like all these small little pieces are still here. Let's go ahead and remove them. I know a lot of you guys would recommend to disconnect the battery when you do this repair. I have done many times with the battery being connected, and it feels like the audience keep asking me why did I do that. So in this purpose of the video, I will disconnect the battery for that reason. But my previous other video, you can see that I actually left it on, and replacing the screen, it will still be okay. But it's just a good practice. Okay, I'm not saying it is I'm right and you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right, I'm wrong. I'm just saying that it is a good practice that you know, separate the battery while you remove anything or disconnect anything. It's just a good practice to do that. But is it necessary? I don't think so. That's just my opinion. Make sure you clear all this little tape. Okay, so that should be it. Now let's move on to the next step. We would like to remove the screws. So there are 4 screws. 2 of them are hidden underneath this wrapper. So peel the wrapper off and get your Phillips screwdriver. Go ahead and remove that one, the first screw. Here comes the second screw. It is covered by the wrapper. The third is at the bottom, and the fourth is on the bottom left. Alright, there goes all the 4 screws. Now here is where you want to pay attention to. My LCD screen is good, it's not broken or anything, just the glass. However, the Apple, they do put in this little black like a rubber seal that glues onto the LCD screen. So what I'm using is a tweezer, and you see all this black stuff. I'm kind of like scraping it off so that the screen can come off. So Apple just make things difficult for us to do the repair. They have the screw holding onto the screen, plus they are putting this black rubber sticky stuff to prevent you from taking the screen apart that easily. Now I get this side clear. I like to come back and work on this side. what I'm doing, I'm just scraping on the side, scraping along with the LCD just on the side, and that's how you get some of the rubber out. Okay, and see if it comes up. Do not force the screen to come out, just take your time and lift it up. Alright, so now it looks good. So lift it up towards your body, towards yourself, and get a Phillips screwdriver and go ahead and remove the 3 screws. Okay, now this is the point where I will just go ahead and disconnect the cable. But like I said on the previous video, a lot of people would just say, oh, well, you did not disconnect the battery, why did you do that? That's not a good thing. Okay, I'm just gonna do it for you, but like I said, it is actually not really needed. So I'm just gonna stick the plastic in between. That way is to lift the connector not to touch at each other. So once you have the connector being separated, then there's no current running through the from the battery. So do that, and like I said, this is the cable earlier that I cut off. This is the flex cable. There are 2 of them for the digitizer. So once you cut it off, it is a lot easier to work with. But yes, okay, there you go. I just disconnected the LCD screen. Now this is pretty much it. We are planning to install with the new stuff, right? The new screen. So first I like to clean my table. Make sure that I have a clean environment when I work with. Okay, at this point here, I would like to double check on the home button. It looks like some of the double-sided tape are still on, and this glue came off very nicely on the bracket. So we can reuse this home button without any problem. Here comes the new screen. Okay, so what I like to do is to install the new screen. I mean, install the home button on the new screen. Now, the best way to do is to have a leverage. Since I'm filming, I can't really show it to you, like push it down a little bit. So what I'll do is I will get something here to lift it up slightly higher, because I need the height, the gap to fill the button when I do it. So you can push it down towards the end of the table to do it. Since my camera is already in a fixed position, I'm just going to have something to lift up the iPad. Now first I like to align my home button, make sure my home button is right in the center of this. Can you guys see it? I move it a little bit here. Hopefully you guys can see it. I usually have the screen down, but the glass sitting on the flat surface, but now I'm just gonna hold it right here. So I have the button in the center. I feel like it's in a good position, and if the bracket sits here, the clicker works very good. Okay, so I know that the button is in the right position. Now here comes the let me put some stuff here to lift the screen up a little bit. Okay, here comes the glue. So you see, I just put a very little glue on it, not a lot, just a little bit, maybe a size of a baby booger. That's how little I put. You actually do not need a lot, okay? Because when you press it down, the super glue is going to spray itself all around the bracket. So now, because the glue is not dry yet, the bracket, you can still adjust the clicking. So now I feel like the button clicks very good, and this is the right position, and I'm just gonna hold on to the bracket for a few more seconds. While I'm keep holding, I'm keep pressing. I just want to make sure that I did not over move the bracket. Now looks good. I think the super glue is drying slightly, so I'm just going to move all this on the side and let the screen rest properly without stressing the home button. Okay, that looks pretty good now. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so pretty much we are almost there. Now let me go ahead and again make sure the battery is not connected. Just gonna lift it up a little bit and I go ahead and connect the cable. This cable here is just like Lego. Once you have them in the right position, you have them in the right slot, they would just go ahead and snap in by itself. Okay, you don't have to put a lot of pressure or strength to push it down. You just have to have it aligned in the right position. Sometimes it can take me a long time to find a position, so just be patient. Okay, I found the first one. And I found the second one. So once, oops, came off. The first one is in, the second one is in. Now let me go ahead and connect the LCD screen. Oops, the second one came off. Okay, let's go ahead and put the bracket back on. At this time I can disconnect the battery already. We don't need to keep inserting the battery. Disconnecting the battery since it's already, everything is installed. Okay, so put the battery back on, put the screws, and go ahead and connect the bracket and the 3 screws. Okay, so at this point here, what I would like to do is I like to lift the screen, make sure the screen is above the home button cable right here. What I like to do is to align the bottom first, make sure the bottom is pushed down, slide it in and slowly drop it on the top. When you drop it, it should just sit on top without any pressure by pushing it down. Now once you have it in the right position, I'll go ahead and put the screws on just to hold it tight. And at this time here, I like to power up the iPad. Make sure that, oh, I think the battery is dead. So there's one way to do it is to insert the charging port at the bottom. This is a perfect time to show it to you. I like to test my iPad, make sure my iPad works. Have the screen turns on, make sure the touchpad works as well. The touch screen works as well before I close it in. So it looks like it's charging, is 4%. Okay, I can feel like the button is working. I can press up to 5. Let me go ahead and, yeah, this power button is messed up. So press the home button. It works. I'm not pressing it, by just touching it I can feel like it shakes, meaning that it doesn't recognize my touch ID. So which is a good sign because I'm wearing a glove, so it doesn't recognize it. And as you can see, I can press all the digits, so the touchscreen is good. Now let me go ahead and not charge the iPad for now, so I know that the iPad is working just fine. Let me go ahead and rest it down. And what I'll be doing is installing this double-sided tape. That's the reason why I wear gloves, so that it doesn't dirty the fingerprint on all the LCD. So it has a different sizes. This one is a lot thinner, and the thin part I like to push it down to the other side on both left and right, because the base is very thin. The base is very thin. Is that the right word to use? So I use the shorter adhesive tape, and then here at the bottom I use the thicker double tape so that it holds it much more better. Okay, let me do it on the top. So far, if you're still following my tutorial, you're almost done. Okay, and if you're able to see the screen, it powers on and you can test the screen and your home button and everything works, congrats to you. You have pretty much successfully repaired your own iPad. And at this point here, not to carry over yourself that you just still want to keep watching my video, and I'll show you a little secret trick at the very end of the video. And that trick would be how to hide the cable. How to hide the cable? What do you mean? Okay, I'll show it to you just in a minute. What I'm doing right now is pressing down the tape. Make sure I have it all the way secure by pressing down the base. Okay, now the next step I like to do is to remove the pre-installed double-sided tape here. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove them. Okay, so I have all three sides removed, the top, the left, and the bottom. Now what I'll do is I'll flip the screen, and I like to align them before I close it. I take a final look, give it a final touch, make sure there's no dust whatsoever here on the screen. Everything looks good, and I go ahead and rest it on the very corner. Okay, I always start with the corner. That's the best way to position your glass. Start it from the corner. Okay, make sure everything is in. You press it down a little bit. You see my hand is still holding on to the right side of the screen. Now this is the thing that I like to peel. When I say the secret means, go ahead and peel off the remaining tape here. You need to peel the thing off so you can stick it back down together. Right, so that is the little secret. Not yet, not revealing yet, but just telling you this is where I'm going to tell you what to do next. Oh my god, this thing is keep breaking. Okay, that's good. Now I have the other side, which is the red double-sided tape. Okay, now here comes the secret. We remember that two little cable here for the digitizer. Now you want to press it in using the back of the, can you guys see it? Using the back of the prying tool. You want to tuck it underneath, right? If you clip it right now, more likely this cable would end up clipping on the tape. So that means you have an opening gap here. But if you press it down and put, make sure that the home button cable as well, right? So see, now my home button cable is stuck with the tape. Let me just reposition it, push it down a little bit. Okay, there you go. Now here comes the screen. I'll go press it down, push it down a little bit. While you're pushing it down, you're pressing and securing the glass. That's my little trick for you today on how to make sure you have the right press, and when you end up closing the screen, it doesn't overlap the cable that sits on top the tape. All right, now I kind of double check. I'm running across the iPad, kind of use my finger to press it down, and everything looks good. Now I press the home button. I should have the screen that comes up. And let me try again. Oh, the button works. I do not know the code. Sorry, I'm just testing out the button. All right, everything works, and there you have it. So if you like the video, please press the like button, and please comment below. I'd like to hear from you whether you can able to fix your own iPad or if you have any difficulties. I hope and I wish you all the best and success by following this video on how to replace your iPad. Alright, take care now. Bye.